Hello, icons and phenoms. It's Mjolnir Monday, June 10th. I'm your host, Sexy Thor, and it's time for your weekly thunder. So before I get into the hot garbage that was Super Showdown, and just for warning, I'm going to be talking a lot about some hot garbage this episode, so if you like positivity, well, maybe I can find some amongst this hot garbage, but this is pretty much going to be a central hot garbage episode. Your weekly hot garbage. But starting off, the man, Becky Red Belt, Becky Lynch, will be facing Lacey Evans yet again at Stomping Grounds because obviously when you lose a championship match, it's supposedly back of the line, but I guess when the line includes only you, I guess back of the line and front of the line are one and the same thing. However, not so much for the SmackDown Women's Championship as there was Carmella, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss, because her in-ring career is not over like some people predicted. They had a triple threat match to decide the number one contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and it was Alexa, so everybody thanked the goddess for at least delaying the inevitable and having Charlotte Flair in yet another championship match. On behalf of the goddess, you're welcome. Also, Alexa and her new best friend Nikki Cross might be in the Women's Tag Team Championship mix, as Nikki Cross defeated Peyton Royce in a singles match on Raw Monday, and before that happened, the other of the Iconics, Billie Kay, pushed Alexa, or made her spill her coffee, and then pushed her into said coffee puddle, thus ruining her white pants, which I thought was an interesting choice. And of course it would, before the coffee spill happened, that she'd be wearing white pants. It seems very different. But then, of course, she fell into the coffee, and it all made sense. So Alexa got that look on her face, the face that we used to see of old, of just pure venom and calculated destruction. And while Billie Kay was checking in on her friend in the ring, Alexa climbed between the ropes and then drop kicked Billie Kay right in the back and then DDT'd her. And I don't see how else they're going to go with this, aside from this being the Iconics versus Alexa versus Nikki. Still waiting to see what's becoming of Paige's Kabuki Warriors, though. Haven't really seen them on TV in, a month? Anyway, so on to Super Showdown. The first match was in the Super Showdown kickoff show between the Usos and the Revival, because the Usos have just been trolling them, but everybody hates the Revival, so nobody really knows who the heel is here, or if the Usos are anti-heroes, maybe? I'm not sure. But also, the Usos did defeat Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, in the WrestleMania kickoff show, but nothing's really become of that. So now they're just going to face the Revival in this, quite frankly, a really silly grudge match. Okay. And then the very first match of the main program, much like WrestleMania, which he almost main evented, Seth Rollins defeated Baron Corbin to defend his Universal Championship. And then once that was done, because Baron Corbin was so frustrated and blamed it on the ref, of course, he put his end of days finisher on Rollins after the match and left, and then that's when Brock Lesnar decided to strike with his Money in the Bank briefcase. And then Paul Heyman tripped up trying to get in the ring carrying the Money in the Bank briefcase, so Seth used that distraction to take his whole arm and hit Brock Lesnar right in the balls, what the TV people call a low blow. And then proceeded to beat the holy hell out of Brock with a steel chair, and then curb stomped his head onto the Money in the Bank briefcase and knocked him out and got the hell out of Saudi Arabia. There will be a rematch for the Universal Championship between Seth and Corbin. Why? At the Stomping Grounds pay-per-view on Sunday, June 23rd. So maybe Brock will cash in there, or maybe he'll cash in sooner. I don't know. The next match was the Demon Finn Balor defeating Andrade to defend his Intercontinental Championship. And, the Demon is still undefeated in WWE, though I gotta say they actually put on a hell of a match, and there was so much action done that his makeup was pretty much just about wiped away. I would say at least 97% of it was, so Andrade almost turned him back into regular Finn Balor, who is also a winner. Also winner after that, after Shane O'Mac has been horrible to The Miz and Roman Reigns for the last couple months. Well, Shane beat him again, but also because Drew McIntyre hit him with a Claymore kick when the ref wasn't looking. So clearly they're pushing Shane as top heel because he's the boss's son. So he's going to become the new hero for all the spoiled rich kids out there. But Roman will be getting a little bit of revenge because he will be facing Drew McIntyre at the Stomping Grounds pay-per-view. Another grudge match which came out of nowhere because, like I said, I'm pretty sure they squashed this like 12 years prior, and then somehow on Raw they had a little FaceTime where they're spitting at each other when really they really had nothing to do with each other for years before that, since the Evolution days. It was Triple H and Randy Orton won. They did have a face-to-face on Raw, but I guess that was because they needed footage to throw in there as for the little video vignette introducing their match. But yeah, I guess Randy Orton's still pissed off at him, so yeah, hit him with a good couple RKOs and kicked out of pedigree. And he defeated the King of Kings, still the Legend Killer. Also, Kofi defeated Dolph for the WWE Championship. Or not for it, he defended it. But they're getting a rematch in a steel cage because Dolph blames Xavier Woods for being a distraction. So, steel cage, Stomping Grounds, Kofi Dolph 2. Also, there's a 50-man battle royal, the largest in WWE history. Actually, 51-man. And the victor was Mansoor, who's currently an NXT superstar and from Saudi Arabia. So they're going with the angle of local hero wins battle royal in our pay-per-view. So that was nice, though. And also, Titus O'Neil was involved in this battle royal, and he didn't slip. Though apparently it's just starting to get to be a running gag that, he runs down the ramp towards the ring, and then he just stops and makes sure he doesn't slip. Also return is Luchador Sin Cara, who hasn't been seen in quite a while. And the main event match, which I guess really shouldn't have been the main event at all, at least it was fun anticipating it, was Undertaker versus Goldberg for the first time ever. And it started out pretty nicely. It was like, maybe this will be something. Because Goldberg started out with a couple spears right off the bat on Undertaker. And then, Undertaker did a successful tombstone, which Goldberg kicked out of. And then it just got ugly from there because Goldberg tried to hit him with another spear, but Taker moved out of the way. So Goldberg hit his head on with the middle turnbuckle, and his head was bleeding, and jeez. And then there was botched jackhammers and tombstones, and so eventually Taker just hit him with a choke slam, 1, 2, 3 pin, and he won. And yeah, it was probably about as much of a disaster as a lot of people anticipated, but it was even more of a disaster than I anticipated it, and I was just like, nah, this can't be good. Hey, speaking of something that started out to be pretty good, but then quickly turned all botchy and fail, Dark Phoenix just came out this weekend. Yeah, that shit was just. I'll say this for this one point, because it would take so long to get into all the reasons why this movie was hot garbage. But yeah, you know how Quicksilver in these past couple of years has pretty much become everybody's favorite in there. Well, he's somehow just straight up disappeared after the first act, and like maybe showed up for a little bit at the end after all the dust settled and all that. So pretty much there was 1,000% more justice done to Quicksilver in Age of Ultron than there was in Dark Phoenix. Yeah, it's like that. But hey, this coming week, Captain Marvel's coming out on Blu-ray, so I can watch that a million times just to get that rare taste of bad Marvel movie out of my mouth, or out of my eyes, out of my ears, whatever. So very much looking forward to that, along with E3, which is happening the 11th through the 13th, where Marvel's Avengers, the video game, will be debuting at the Square Enix live event. And also, this Wednesday is the season premiere of Krypton. So lots of good stuff coming. And that's your Weekly Thunder for June 10th. I'm Sexy Thor. And remember to drink, fight, and don't wrestle when you're like 55.